This really might not be for everyone, but this is for you. If you know you need something to change, you need something to give, you don't necessarily like the path that your life is headed down, and you're ready for a revision. It's like you know you want the change, but you don't know where to start. That is what this series is for, is specifically for. Because I have been there. I kind of feel like the queen of the rebrand. Over the last 10 years, I've had 3 kids. I moved across the country twice. I changed careers, started my own business. I started content creation. I started working out consistently for the first time in my 34 years of life and actually enjoy it. I truly, truly believe in your power to write whatever story you want for your life. And my hope is that this series is a jumping off point for you. I'm basically condensing, consolidating my own research and then also my own personal experience to share the things that have really helped me and hopefully will really help you in your journey, and we can do it together. The new year is such an obvious time, I think, to kind of reflect and look forward. Look critically at the story, at the narrative of your life and how it's going and how you feel about it, or make any adjustments, if you will, that you want. It's never done, it's never complete, it's always changing. I'm right there in the same boat with you. I'm doing this same process with you right now in this time as we begin our new year. So let's begin part 1. It's all a story. You want to make a change in your life. This is where you have to begin every time. You will never be able to make a change in your life until you change the story you tell yourself about yourself, until you change the way you speak to yourself. A change will not happen until those things change first. If you zoom out, the big takeaway that you have to understand and I guess remind yourself of is that you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts and opinions about yourself are malleable. They can change. You can change them. But you have control over the story that you tell yourself about yourself. I guess like the buzzword, calling them self-limiting beliefs. I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I had always heard that, but I didn't really know what that meant. A self-limiting belief is any negative thought that you hold about yourself or your capabilities. So like, oh, like I could never do that, or I'm just so disorganized, or I guess I'm just always gonna be a hot mess, or I could never be that type of person, or I don't have the time for that, or I'm just so tired, I just never have the energy for that. There's no way I could do that, or I'm not cut out for that. And what's true and crazy is that a lot of the times we're not even fully aware of the negative story that we're telling ourselves. But the truth is that you will never be able to make any sort of change in your life until you change the story that you're telling yourself, until you change the narrative. Because your story, that story controls your actions, and your actions will always align with the story that you accept as truth about yourself. There's a quote that really stuck with me. I think it's from Big Magic. Elizabeth Gilbert, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. She says, argue for your limitations and you get to keep them. And that's the whole sentiment. Oh, and there's also the Henry Ford quote. It's like, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. I'm making a poster of that for my house, by the way. But from a neurological standpoint, your brain is constantly trying to make sense of the world around it and trying to make connections, trying to fit things neatly into boxes of understanding. When I was a teacher, we called this scaffolding. That's your brain's nature. Your brain wants to make connections, make understanding, put things in little boxes. So your brain is constantly looking for evidence in your life to support whatever story it has. It truly is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So whatever you tell yourself to be true, if you think to yourself, I can't do that, then your brain is going to be looking for and creating more and more evidence in your life to support that idea that you can't do that. So even if you start to make progress, you want to start working out, you want to start exercising every day. If underneath down below, you still in your mind have this story that you're an unfit person, you could never see yourself being a fit person. If that's the story that deep down you believe, that will eventually sabotage any progress that you make. Your actions will eventually start to align with that underlying belief. It's so defeating. It's so defeating. And what's even worse, like in that process of like start, stop trying to make a change, you are now creating this story in your mind that you can't make a change, that's impossible, which is not true. And that's what this whole series is about, is getting past the stop, start. So that is why self-belief, and even more important, self-compassion, which we'll get to in a minute, is where we have to start when we're talking about any sort of change. If we want to make that big change, we have to change the way we think about ourselves and the way that we speak to ourselves and the story that you tell yourself about yourself. It's the only way. And the good news, like the big takeaway, the good news is that you hold the pen. Like you hold the pen. You have the power. You hold the pen in writing the story that you tell yourself about yourself. There's not much that we can control in this world, but what you can control is your mind. Yeah, some stoicism for you here. Motherboard. Stoicism. There's two things that you can control: your actions and your mindset. If you're like, okay, I sort of understand what you're saying, but I don't really know what I'm looking for when it comes to self-limiting beliefs, here are some key characteristics to look for. Fully recognize what a self-limiting belief in your life may be. The first is negativity. So if there's a scale of optimistic to pessimistic, we're over here with the pessimistic. It's whenever you're focusing on your limitations, shortcomings, and potential failures. The words that you will hear are words like, I can't, I could never, I will never, I'll never succeed, or anything along the lines of like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough. Another key characteristic is inhibition. Self-limiting beliefs will try to keep you in your comfort zone. They will keep you from taking any sort of risk. They'll keep you from pursuing new opportunities, putting yourself out there at all costs. They are that voice that says, we're fine right here. They want to keep you from setting any sort of ambitious goal or trying new things. Another key characteristic is self-sabotage. We kind of talked about this before. When you maintain self-limiting beliefs, it can lead to self-sabotaging behavior because you may either undermine your own efforts or avoid situations where you might be challenged or you might fail, which leads to the next key characteristic, which is rigidity. Self-limiting beliefs make you rigid. They see that growth, they see that change as something that's beyond your capabilities. They see growth and change as a threat. It keeps you from personal growth. It keeps you from development because you're like, oh, I could never do that, so I'm just not even gonna try. And then the last one, this is the big kicker, and I feel like this is the most obvious, but self-limiting beliefs are a huge, huge hit to your self-confidence and your self-esteem. This concept, learning about self-limiting beliefs and then learning how to shed and change my own beliefs, has been such a huge, huge factor in my own confidence as a woman, as a mom. I know we're not all moms here, but I think thinking about how self-limiting beliefs influenced me as a mom is really what I guess was the turning point for me. Not only do those self-limiting beliefs affect you personally, but it also affects your home as a mom, as a leader in your home. Here are some ways, whether you really think about it or not. If you're not confident in yourself as a mom, as the leader in your home, that can affect your ability to confidently make decisions and confidently set boundaries for your kids. Lack of confidence is leading to a lack of boundaries for our kids, which is then leading to inconsistency in your parenting style. I was definitely there. If you have this like underlying belief that you're not good enough, you're not a good mom, you're not a good enough person, you may become overly permissive to avoid confrontation, or overly controlling to, I guess, like exert control over your kids, or what is probably most likely is alternating between the two, like being overly permissive, being overly controlling, which is just then confusing your kids. It's like a sense of ungroundedness because they don't know what to expect. There's not like clear expectations, there's not clear boundaries, but also just an increase in stress. If you have this like rigid negative lens on your life, this is the way it is, there's no hope here, I guess I'm just stuck surviving this forever. That doesn't feel good in your mind, it doesn't feel good in your body, and it doesn't feel good in your home. You're living in that stress, and that stress is gonna bleed around you. So it's the inconsistent parenting, the stress all around you, and then the third, which is like, I guess probably for me, the kicker. How you speak to yourself, how you think about yourself is what you are modeling to your kids. Our kids are constantly looking at us and learning from us, and they learn most from how we are than what we say. They're hearing those like self-limiting beliefs from their parent. They will probably eventually internalize thoughts and attitudes and beliefs about themselves. But damn, that's dark. Damn, that's dark, yeah. But that's not where we're ending. That's not where we're ending. Because there is good news. There is good news. This is the good news. This is the takeaway, okay? This is the takeaway. By this knowledge, by knowing what a self-limiting belief is, identifying them, by addressing them, and then by challenging them and replacing them with empowering beliefs, that is when you open yourself up to growth and your full, insanely incredible potential. All that is within you. So how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna shed those self-limiting beliefs? This is exactly how. You are shifting to a growth mindset. It's a buzzy word, but growth mindset is everything. For me personally, it's the number one thing that I hope I pass on to my I'm not gonna say I hope. It's the number one thing that I'm passing on to my children, is the idea that you can do anything. All you need is the right knowledge, the right tools, time, and practice. Patience, perseverance through repetition, that is the only key to growth and change. So where we're gonna start, too long, didn't read. Where you're gonna start is you're gonna figure out what is the story that you are telling yourself about yourself. What do you believe about yourself? And is that the one you want to go with? Is that serving you? I have a little guided journal, it's down below, or you can just do this in a notebook, but try to identify any self-limiting beliefs that you might be holding on to right now in this season of your life. Then I want you to really think about where those came from and find counter evidence in your life where you've shown that you could, where you've succeeded, where you have overcome challenges. So you're finding counter evidence to challenge those beliefs. And then lastly, you are going to reframe those thoughts, reframe those beliefs. It might look something like shifting from I can't do this or I could never do this to I can learn and improve with effort and practice. We'll talk about visualization and affirmation and actually in a way that is helpful and not just like really woo-woo. We'll get to that in our later parts. But oh yeah, something I really want to mention too is we're not on the toxic positivity train. We're not going to say like, oh, like if I just think that everything's fine all the time, everything will be fine. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. It is so important to acknowledge when you're struggling. It's so important to acknowledge when things are hard because life is hard. Life is hard. But what the shift is, we're not saying that life isn't hard. We're saying, okay, life is hard right now, or like this sucks, or I'm struggling right now, but I know it's not the end. I'm struggling right now, but I know it's gonna get easier with time. I'm new at this. This is hard, but I know it's gonna get easier. That's the takeaway. That's the shift. That's the shift that we're going for. So here is your concrete takeaway for part one, what you're gonna go do right now. Use the guided journal or use your own journal. Identify and challenge any limiting beliefs that you are ready to leave behind in the new year. The next step is writing out 1 to 5 max of those reframed thoughts or those reframed affirmations, those positive affirmations. Write them out and put them somewhere that you see them every day. Like hang them on your bathroom mirror or the mirror in your room when you're getting ready. You just want something that you can see every day to remind yourself, to catch yourself in any negative self-talk or any negative story. That is part one. That's heavy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. That's the only way to make any lasting change is to bring those stories to light, because that's how you change the story. That's how you grab hold of the pen and write the story that you want. And that's what we're doing. Stick around for part two. We are going to be moving on to the next step, which is reflecting and processing the year behind us. And a nice little way to do that. All right, see you then.